The story is titled, My Best Friend Kept Forgetting to Pay Me Back, so I printed the IOU texts and taped them inside his wedding card. Now he's begging me to take it back before his bride sees it. Right now, there is a wedding card sitting on my kitchen table that feels like a bomb. I'm Jason, 30, male, and my best friend since middle school is Ethan, 30, male. In 3 days, I'm supposed to stand next to him as his best man while he marries Hannah, 28, female. Instead, I'm staring at this cream-colored card with gold foil, inside of which I carefully taped 13 screenshots of our text conversations. Every, I'll pay you Friday, bro, I swear. Every, can you spot me just this once? Every lie in black and white, lined up like a museum exhibit of my stupidity. My phone keeps lighting up with his name while I write this. He knows what's in the card and he is absolutely losing his mind. The mess didn't start with the wedding. It started 16 years ago when Ethan forgot to pay me back for a lunch combo in 8th grade and made some dumb joke about interest. Back then it was $5 and I laughed it off. That was kind of our dynamic. I was the quiet, steady kid with a part-time job at the grocery store. Ethan was the charming disaster, always talking his way out of late homework, late curfew, late everything. He'd borrow gas money, concert tickets, cover at bars. I'd front it, and he'd pay me back. Eventually, sometimes, if he remembered. And when he didn't, he'd deflect with a joke or this dramatic apology that made me feel like a jerk for caring. The thing is, outside the money stuff, Ethan was there for me. When my dad walked out, he slept on my floor for 3 nights straight so I wouldn't be alone. When my first serious girlfriend cheated, he drove 2 hours in the middle of the night just to take me to Waffle House and let me rant until sunrise. He has this way of making the world feel less heavy for everyone but himself. That's why I kept letting the little debts slide. 50 here, 100 there. It felt petty to keep a running tally on my best friend, the guy who held me while I ugly cried in the Walmart parking lot once. Then Ethan proposed to Hannah, and the borrowing went from, can you cover the tab, to, can you put the venue deposit on your card? My bonus is late. Suddenly, I wasn't just his friend. I was his unofficial line of credit. Suit deposit, bachelor party, Airbnb, ring resizing, random Venmo requests labeled emergency that turned out to be for custom neon signs, and signature cocktail tastings. Every single time, I'll send it Friday. I started saving the texts because some bitter, tired part of me knew he wouldn't. I'd scroll through them at night and feel this mix of anger and shame, because who lets their best friend treat them like a walking ATM for years? When he asked me to be his best man, he did it in this big public way at a bar downtown. Shoved a shot into my hand, clinked glasses, and yelled, "Couldn't have done any of this without my boy Jay." Everyone cheered. I smiled. Inside, all I could hear was my credit card interest ticking like a time bomb. The thing about Ethan is he doesn't look like a user. He looks like everyone's favorite guy. When he introduced me to Hannah, he did that arm around my shoulder thing and said, "This is Jason, my ride or die. If he ever texts you he needs something, help him before me." She laughed like it was a joke, but something in my chest tightened because what if I ever did need something? Hannah is kind, that's the worst part. She's a teacher, does this soft voice when she talks about her students, brings homemade cookies to game nights. She'd sit at our kitchen table with her budget binder, highlighters lined up, trying to wrangle wedding costs. Ethan would stand behind her, kiss her head, and then text me under the table. "Hey bro, can you cover the DJ deposit? I get paid next week." From my spot at the same table. I'd look at him. He'd raise his eyebrows like, "Please?" Hannah would glance up and say something like, "I really hope we're not asking too much of you with all this wedding stuff." And Ethan would jump in before I could answer, all wounded pride. "Babe," Jason offered. I literally tried to say no. I hadn't. But I nodded anyway, because I didn't want to be the reason she stressed more. The debt crept up the way weight does. Slowly, then all at once. One night, I opened my banking app and added everything. Venue, suits, Airbnb, bar tab. Ethan forgot to close. Random emergency Venmos. The number made my stomach flip. I scrolled back through our texts and it was like reading a script. "I swear I'll send it Friday." "Bro, my account's frozen Monday for sure. Can you spot me just this once?" I screenshotted one thread, then another. At first it was this impulsive, petty thing, like I needed proof I wasn't crazy. I made a folder labeled Ethan IOUs. Every time he promised Friday, I saved it. 13 screenshots. 13 Fridays that never came. The folder sat on my phone like a quiet accusation. I did try to talk to him once, a month before the wedding. We were in his apartment surrounded by boxes of centerpieces and little jars of fake moss. I said, "Hey, can we go over what you owe me? I'm starting to drown here." He froze, then went full theater. Hand to his chest, offended. Drown? Dude, are you serious right now? After everything we've been through, you're really gonna nickel and dime me before my wedding? I reminded him it wasn't nickels or dimes. He laughed, this sharp, ugly sound I'd never heard from him before. You know what? Forget it. I'll figure it out without you. God, I thought you were my brother. He stormed into the hallway so hard one of their framed engagement photos slipped off a nail and smacked the floor. The glass shattered across their "Our Forever Starts Here" doormat. I just stood there staring at their smiling faces under cracked glass while he slammed the bedroom door. That image would not leave my head. 2 days later, I sat at my kitchen table with the fancy wedding card Hannah had handpicked. "You're like sentimental," she'd told me, pressing it into my hands. I printed those 13 screenshots on glossy paper, each one trimmed clean. My hands were shaking, but it felt weirdly calm inside, like the decision had been made a long time ago. I taped them inside the card one by one, like laying out evidence. On the right side, where a normal person would write a heartfelt note, I wrote, "This is what you owe me, in money and in honesty. Congratulations." Update 1. Wow, so I didn't expect anyone to even read that, let alone blow my phone up. I posted, went to bed, and woke up to people telling me to send invoices to Hannah, to the venue, to God himself. Some of you said I was being petty with the screenshots. Some of you said I'd been his emotional doormat for so long that this was the first time I'd even stood up, and that hit way too hard. So here's what happened since. The card was still on my kitchen table, sealed but not signed, because I couldn't make myself write "Love Jason" under what was basically a financial autopsy. I'd decided I'd think about it after work. I was literally in the shower when it all detonated. I come out, towel around my waist, and Ethan is in my kitchen. He has a key. He's used it a million times to borrow beer or crash on my couch. I never thought about it as an invasion until I saw him standing there, pale, holding my wedding card with both hands like it was a dead animal. "Dude," he says, voice shaking, "what the hell is this?" The envelope is torn open. The printed texts are half hanging out, one corner already bent. My stomach just drops. All I can think is, he went through my stuff. He must have seen the extra printouts in the trash or the folder on my desk. He flips the card open and slaps it down on the counter, hard. The ceramic mug next to it wobbles and crashes to the floor, exploding coffee and shards everywhere. I actually flinch. "You're gonna show this to Hannah?" He's yelling now. "You're gonna humiliate me on my wedding day over a couple stupid payments?" "It's not a couple," I say, and my voice sounds weirdly calm in my own ears. "It's everything. It's years." He lunges for my phone on the table. "Give me this. I'm deleting that folder. You're not doing this to me." We end up in this pathetic tug of war, barefoot in spilled coffee. He's trying to wrench my phone out of my hand and I shove him off. He stumbles back into the fridge so hard a magnet pops off and a save the date hits the floor between us. For a second, everything goes quiet. He slides down the fridge, puts his head in his hands and starts crying. Not silent tears. Loud, gasping, ugly sobs. "Jason, please," he chokes out. "If she sees this, she'll think I'm using you. She'll call off the wedding. I swear I'll pay you back. After the honeymoon, after we combine accounts, just please don't put this in the card. Take it back. Burn it. Whatever." And here's the messed up part. Some old part of me wanted to. Wanted to grab the card, throw it away, hug him, say we're fine. Instead, I heard all of you in my head saying, "He's only sorry because he got caught." So I picked the card up, smoothed the bent corner, and said, "You have until the wedding to make this right." He looked up at me like I'd slapped him. Now my phone is full of missed calls, angry texts, and one message that just says, "If you don't fix this, I will." After Ethan left my apartment, the silence felt louder than his screaming. He'd gone from rage to sobbing so fast it gave me whiplash. One minute he was yanking at my phone like he'd tear my arm off with it. The next he was collapsed against my fridge, snot and tears everywhere, begging me like a kid caught stealing. When the door finally slammed behind him, I just stood in the middle of the coffee-soaked floor, card in one hand, phone in the other, thinking, did that really just happen? I cleaned up on autopilot, tossed the broken mug, wiped the coffee off the card like I was saving something sacred instead of a paper grenade. Then I did something I probably should have done years ago. I took the spare key with his worn-out Batman keychain off my hook and dropped it into the trash. That night, my phone turned into a siren. First came the guilt texts. Bro, you're overreacting. Can we just forget this? I'm stressed enough. Then the threats. If you show her, I swear we're done. You're not stepping foot in my wedding if you pull this. Then a number I didn't recognize called. Against my better judgment, I picked up. Jason, it's Lauren, she said. Lauren, 33, female. Ethan's older sister. I've known her forever, the responsible one who bailed him out of teenage messes. Her voice was tight. What are you doing to my brother? I almost laughed. What I'm doing? She sighed hard. He's freaking out. He says you're blackmailing him over some money. Look, I know he can be Ethan, but this is his wedding. Do you really want to be the reason it gets ruined? The wording hit me right in that old weak spot. The reason it gets ruined. Like the debt, the lies, the manipulation, none of that counted. Only my boundary did. I told her quietly, all I want is for him to finally act like a grown man. If that ruins the wedding, that's not on me. She went cold. You're both idiots, she snapped and hung up. The next day at work, it escalated. I finished my shift and walked out to the parking lot, exhausted, only to see Ethan leaning against my car, hands jammed into his pockets, suit, garment bag slung over his shoulder like a threat. Seriously? I muttered. He pushed off the car so fast he made it rock. You're not ignoring me, he said. His eyes were bloodshot, jittery. We're fixing this right now. I have nothing to fix, I said, walking past him to the driver's side. He slapped his palm on the hood, hard. The sound cracked through the lot. A couple coworkers turned to look. You think you're some hero because you printed receipts? He shouted. You're jealous, man. Just admit it. You can't stand that I'm getting married first. I felt my jaw clench. This isn't about Hannah. This is about you treating me like a bank. He lunged for my backpack, then yanking it off my shoulder. The strap snapped and it hit the pavement. Papers flying everywhere. Pay stubs, my rent notice, a printed copy of one of the screenshot pages I'd forgotten was in there. He saw it, grabbed it, crumpled it in his fist. His face twisted. You walking around with this like some psycho accountant? He spat and hurled the crumpled page across the lot. It landed in an oily puddle. Something inside me just iced over. I walked around him, slow, picking up my scattered papers, letting everyone stare. He kept pacing, ranting about betrayal, how I was trying to destroy his life over a few Fridays. It was almost funny, if it hadn't been so pathetic. When I got home, my front door had fresh scratches around the lock, like someone had tried and failed to jam a key in hard enough to break it. I called a locksmith that night and had the whole thing changed. When he handed me the new keys, I felt this sharp, guilty relief, like I'd finally locked more than just a door. I was microwaving leftover pizza when there was a knock. I opened it expecting Ethan round two. Instead, Hannah stood there in leggings and an oversized sweatshirt, hair in a messy bun, eyes red. She was holding the crumpled, oil-stained screenshot page between two fingers like it was toxic. Jason, she said, voice shaking, I need you to tell me what this is, and I need you to tell me the truth. Hannah stepped past me into the apartment like her legs moved before her brain did. Up close, I could see the page was still damp at the edges, oil blooming through the ink. She held it out. He said you're collecting things to use against him, she said, like blackmail, that you're trying to ruin the wedding. I actually laughed, this short, bitter sound. Yeah, that sounds like something he'd say. She shot me this sharp look. So it's not? I took a breath. Sit down, I'll show you everything. We ended up at my tiny kitchen table, the same place I'd taped the screenshots into the card. I pulled out my phone, opened the Ethan IOUs folder, pushed it toward her. At first, she tried to skim, doing the efficient teacher thing. Then she stopped, scrolled back, read slower. I'll have it Friday, bro. Her voice was flat. Next Friday for sure. Just spot me. I'm good for it. She clicked the next image, then the next. Same words, same little gray bubbles. Her hand went to her mouth. These are all months apart. Years, I said quietly. She swallowed, eyes glassy. He told me you insisted on paying for things, that it was like your way of feeling important, that I should just let you because you don't have a lot going on. Her face crumpled as she said it. God, I sound like such an idiot saying that out loud. It was like someone took a bat to my ribs. I did offer at first, I admitted. He was my best friend. I wanted to help, but he stopped pretending it was a loan. I didn't. I pulled out the wedding card, laid it between us, still sealed. This is what he found. It's all in here. I was going to give it to him on the day. She stared at the envelope like it might hiss. Then, without asking, she tore it open, slid the card out. Her fingers traced the taped screenshots, my note on the right side. She read it once, twice. Then she stood up so fast, the chair screeched back and smacked the wall. Money from your card, she said, voice shaking, while telling me we couldn't afford half the stuff I wanted. Telling me you were happy to cover it. Telling Lauren you were being dramatic. My heart stuttered. He pulled Lauren into this? She said you were threatening his stability over pocket change. Hannah's laugh broke in the middle. She grabbed the closest thing, one of their glossy save the dates stuck to my fridge, and snapped it in half. The magnet clattered into the sink. As if on cue, my front door rattled. Then a fist slammed into it. Jason, open the door! Ethan's voice, muffled but wild. The handle jerked hard, once, twice. I know you're in there. Hannah went dead still, eyes locked on mine. Another slam. The wood shuddered. If you're showing her those texts, I swear to God. Hannah quietly picked up the card, slid the screenshots back into place, and tucked it into her bag. When she finally spoke, her voice was ice. Don't open it, she whispered. Not yet. What are you going to do? I asked. She wiped a tear off her cheek with the heel of her hand, smearing mascara like a bruise. You're still giving him this card, she said, but you're not the only one leaving a message at that wedding. Update 2. Okay, so apparently my life is now a crowdsourced morality play because I showed Hannah the post. Not all of it, but enough. After she left my apartment with the card, she went straight home and confronted Ethan. I wasn't there, but she texted me later and then filled in more this morning, and it matches exactly the guy I've known forever. She walked in holding the screenshots and the card. He was on the couch playing Xbox like nothing was wrong. She said, "We need to talk about Jason," and he immediately went on the attack. According to her, he didn't even look at the papers at first. He started pacing, ranting that I'm obsessed with him, that I photoshopped things, that I'm trying to break them up because I'm lonely. Classic Ethan. Drown the issue in drama and hope everyone forgets the point. Then she shoved the printed texts into his chest. She said he went silent for a full minute, just staring at his own words. I'll pay you Friday, emergency, bro please, all lined up. Then he laughed, actually laughed. It's not that much, he told her. Jason's being weird. He likes doing this. It makes him feel needed. When she didn't immediately fold, he snapped. Punched the wall right next to their engagement photo, hard enough to put a fist-sized hole in the drywall and knock the frame down. It shattered on the floor, glass everywhere, right over a box of wedding favors. He stormed out, slammed the door so hard one of the letters from their love sign fell and cracked. So yeah, the house is literally chewing up their wedding decor at this point. Since then, Ethan's been ping-ponging between love bombing and threats. I woke up yesterday to a string of texts. Bro, I'm sorry, I'm just stressed. Don't do anything stupid tomorrow and we're good. If you read into this and ruin it for me, I swear you'll regret it. He also keyed my car, just straight up gouged rat into the driver's door. I know it was him because he sent, nice paint job BTW, right after I found it. I didn't call the cops. Part of me wanted to, but honestly, I want him to walk into that wedding thinking he's still in control. Which brings me to now. I'm typing this from the hallway of the hotel where they're holding the ceremony. Rehearsal was a disaster. Lauren wouldn't look at me. Ethan kept trying to pull me aside, hissing, "Did you bring it? Where is it? I'll pat you down if I have to." He grabbed my jacket so hard, he knocked over a tower of champagne glasses. Whole room went silent while they shattered. Hannah rushed over, all calm bride mode, apologized to everyone, then leaned in and whispered in my ear, "You still have the card, right?" I nodded. She squeezed my arm once and said, "Good. Make sure he opens it when I tell him to." So yeah, The card is in my inside pocket. Hannah has her own little envelope she won't let go of. The wedding is in 2 hours, and based on the look she gave me at the rehearsal, I don't think I'm the only one planning sweet revenge anymore. Wedding days are supposed to feel magical. This one felt like waiting for a gas leak to hit a spark. The hotel ballroom was all white drape and fake eucalyptus, little tea lights flickering in glass cylinders along the aisle. I stood at the front next to Ethan, sweat prickling under my collar, the card a solid rectangle of guilt and justice in my inside pocket. Ethan looked rough, eyes bloodshot, jaw tight, smile glued on like a sticker starting to peel. He kept whispering out of the corner of his mouth, "You didn't bring it, right? Tell me you didn't." His fingers kept twitching toward my jacket like he wanted to frisk me in front of everyone. I didn't answer. I just kept thinking about my keyed car, my wrecked door lock, the shattered engagement photo, the word rat dug into my paint. Every scratch felt like a reason to keep my mouth shut and let Hannah's plan play out. Music started. Everyone stood. Hannah came down the aisle on her dad's arm, dressed simple and elegant, bouquet of white roses clenched so tight her knuckles were pale. Our eyes met for half a second. She didn't smile at me. She just gave the tiniest nod. The ceremony itself went weirdly smooth. The officiant did the usual stuff about love being patient and kind, which made my stomach twist. Ethan squeezed her hands like he was auditioning for most devoted groom, chuckling at the right moments, playing his part. Then the officiant said, "Ethan and Hannah have prepared personal vows." Hannah spoke first. Her voice was steady, almost too calm. She talked about partnership, about honesty, about never letting one person carry all the weight. I could see Lauren in the front row, arms folded so tight it looked painful. When she finished, there was polite, misty-eyed clapping. "Ethan?" The officiant smiled. "Your vows?" Ethan patted his pocket theatrically. I actually wrote mine down," he started. "Wait," Hannah cut in, loud enough that the guests rustled. She turned to me. "Jason, you brought Ethan's special card, right?" The room tilted. Every head near me turned. Ethan stiffened. "Hannah, not now," he hissed. She held his gaze. "You said Jason was your brother, your ride or die. You told me he insisted on helping. I think it's only fair everyone sees how you two take care of each other." My heart was pounding so hard I thought the lapel of my jacket was moving. But I reached in, pulled out the cream card, and stepped forward. Ethan actually grabbed my wrist, fingers digging in, nails biting. Under his breath, "Give me that card or I swear I'll—" The mic picked up his tone enough that people in the front rows heard. A murmur rippled through the room. "Ethan?" Hannah said quietly. "Let go of him." For a second, I thought he'd double down. His nostrils flared, eyes darting between us, panic breaking through the performance. Then he dropped my wrist like it burned and snatched the card instead. He flipped it open. I watched his face go from furious red to sickly gray as he took in the taped screenshots, the neat grid of his broken promises, my note on the right. He snapped the card shut so fast it bent. "It's a joke," he said loudly, eyes wild. "Inside joke. Jason's just—" "Read it," Hannah said. He shook his head. "No, it's private, it's—" She reached out and calmly took the card back from his hands. He tried to stop her. They did this little tug-of-war right under the arch, bumping the stand so hard one of the candles tipped and wax splashed onto the white runner like melted plastic tears. Hannah turned to the crowd, card in one hand, mic in the other. "I'm so sorry, everyone," she said, voice suddenly clear and bright. "We just need a minute to go over some outstanding debts before we decide whether to continue." For a second, nobody moved. Hannah stood there under the arch, card in one hand, mic in the other, dress brushing spilled wax. Ethan tried to laugh it off, this choked sound. "She's kidding, you guys, right, babe?" She didn't even look at him. "Jason," she said, eyes on the crowd, "how much does he owe you?" Every head swung toward me like we were in a horror movie. My throat went dry. I hadn't planned a speech. I pulled in a breath anyway. "Just under 8 grand, I said. "Over a couple years, mostly wedding stuff. All those 'I'll pay you Friday' texts?" I jerked my chin toward the card. "They're real." A ripple went through the guests, like wind through tall grass. Someone actually gasped. Hannah lifted the card, reading. "Can you spot me just this once? I swear Friday." She flipped a page. Accounts frozen Monday. You're a lifesaver. Another. Don't tell Hannah, she worries. Her voice cracked on that last part. Ethan lunged for the mic. Enough, he snarled, grabbing the base. They struggled, metal stand scraping across the floor. One of the tall glass cylinders toppled, shattering. A candle rolled under a tablecloth, flame licking fabric before someone stomped it out. Hannah wrenched the mic away with this sudden, vicious strength I didn't know she had. You told me he insisted on paying, she said, eyes blazing. You told me he was obsessed with you. You told your sister he was threatening your stability over pocket change. Lauren flinched like she'd been slapped. Hannah reached into her own bag and pulled out a plain white envelope. I made my own little folder, she said, voice shaking but loud. Bank statements, screenshots. The part you didn't tell Jason. She held up a printout so the first rows were visible. Bar charges, casino app deposits, sports betting. You didn't spend his money on emergencies, she said. You gambled it. You told me we couldn't afford a dishwasher while you were funneling his help into your addiction. There it was. No way to spin, no joke big enough to cover it. Ethan snapped. He grabbed the nearest thing, the floral arrangement on a stand, and hurled it sideways. Water and flowers exploded across the aisle. People screamed. Hannah's bouquet slipped from her hand and landed in the puddle, white roses face down, stems sticking up like broken bones. He pointed at me, face twisted. This is your fault, he shouted. You turned her against me. You're a parasite, man. You love when I need you. I felt everyone's eyes, waiting to see if I'd crumble like usual. Instead, I stepped closer to the mic. My hands were shaking, but my voice came out low and steady. No, I said. I loved my best friend. I hated being needed like this. Hotel staff and a couple of relatives moved in, trying to calm Ethan down. He yanked his arm away so hard he knocked over the small table holding the Unity candle. It crashed, wax splattering his shoes. Hannah watched all of it with this heartbreaking calm. Then she took off her engagement ring, slow, like her fingers weighed 100 pounds, and set it gently on the ruined runner between them. I am not marrying you today, she said. Not until you pay him back. Not until you get actual help. And maybe not ever. The room went dead silent. Ethan's mouth opened and closed. No words came out. For once, there was no script. Hannah turned to me. I'm sorry, she said, eyes shining, for believing him instead of you. I swallowed past the lump in my throat. You're fixing it now, I managed. That counts. She walked back down the aisle alone, dress hem soaking up dirty water and wax, guests parting around her like she was radioactive. Someone started clapping, hesitant, then louder. It wasn't for me. It wasn't even for the drama. It was for her walking away. Afterward, I found the card trampled near the arch, one corner ripped, screenshots smeared but still legible. I picked it up, folded it once, and slipped it into my pocket. Not as a threat anymore. As a reminder. I blocked Ethan that night, filed a police report for the keyed car and the harassment. Hannah texted to say she was staying with a friend, that she'd talked to a lawyer about the deposits and debts. Lauren sent one message. I was wrong. I haven't answered yet. There's a new wedding invite magnet on my fridge now, for some cousin's ceremony, not theirs. Below it, the faint outline where their save the date used to be. The empty space feels peaceful. For the first time in years, I don't owe Ethan anything, and he finally knows he owes me everything.